Welcome aboard, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here. You're a steadfast advocate for health. We had a really good webinar last night. We maxed out the webinar room, 100 people again. Listen to my little diatribe on the wonders of essential fatty acids, on EFAs, why you need them, why they're so vitally important, why you can't live without them, why you've been misinformed about them, and why there are so many different choices available to you as a consumer, and you know which ones are best and which ones do you take and why. And if you missed it, don't worry, it was recorded and archived into my online subscription library where Dr. Glidden insiders go in order to get informed about science-based, clinically verified alternatives to drugs and surgery in order to support and promote their body's ability to fix itself, because guess what? Your body has a built-in ability to fix itself, and this is our fundamental position. Now, you know, all things being equal, perspective is very important in our life. I was watching a movie last night. I hadn't watched it in a long time. It was with Ewan McGregor and Scarlett Johansson. It was called The Island, right? And it was about a group of people who had been cloned, an entire society of people who had been cloned and kept away from the rest of the world in order so that rich people could have perfect babies, right? It was a pretty fantastical sci-fi story. But what it brought to mind, in my mind, was the simple fact that you don't know what you don't know, number one, and number two, every culture, by virtue of its existence, has myths. There are cultural myths which persist inside the fabric of every society, and, you know, it becomes reality by consensus. So everybody that was in this cloned society living underground, they thought that they were the last people on Earth and that the Earth was contaminated and that they couldn't go out. And even though they weren't given any proof of this, they were all just fed a pack of lies. They believed it, hook, line, and sinker. And that was the basis of the story, that these people were all duped, right? The people were all duped. Well, I've got news for you. We are similarly duped. We are similarly duped in this society. And like the fellow said, when you've eliminated the impossible, I believe it was Sir Arthur Conan Doyle who said this, right, under the guise of Sherlock Holmes. When you've eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be so. It must be so. So let's take a look at what's going on. The medical society, the medical theater, the medical industry around the world for the last 100 years has been dominated exclusively by the MDs. Dominated exclusively by the MDs under the aegis of the pharmaceutical industry. Medical doctors don't really practice medicine anymore. They're just delivering pharmaceuticals, right? This is what they do. They hand out the latest, greatest prescription drug, and the intention of which isn't to fix the problem, but to manage the problem. I mean, medical doctors, right, can't even fix heartburn. We know this. They can't fix high blood pressure. They can't fix congestive heart failure. They can't fix asthma. They can't fix a gosh darn thing besides, an infection or a broken bone. And this is the type of medicine that we've gotten used to. It's symptom management through the delivery of man-made synthetic pharmaceutical drugs, number one. While we've let the MDs be in charge of our health, everything's getting worse. Alzheimer's has skyrocketed, autism has skyrocketed, obesity has skyrocketed, heart disease rates remain the same, cancer rates remain the same. We haven't had any traction in any chronic disease ever. We just haven't. And it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse every year. Now, how is it possible that our disease is accelerating, that chronic diseases are accelerating? And as I reported a couple days ago on the radio, chronic diseases are now eclipsing acute infectious diseases as the #1 health concern in the world. Years ago, it was infectious diseases, in third world countries, things like cholera, right, typhoid fever, that were the single biggest killer of people, parasitic infections. But now, even those nasty infections are taking second fiddle to the genesis of chronic diseases. Chronic diseases, things like high blood pressure, heart disease, asthma, arthritis, type 2 diabetes, Alzheimer's disease, etc., are getting so big and bad and widespread that they've become now the number one big bad voodoo daddy in the entire world. Well, how is all of this possible? Well, let's break it down. Number one, your MD, the only person that your insurance pays you to have access to, the only medicine that's legally being able to be practiced in the hospital in your state, the MDs are not trained how to fix things. They're trained how to manage them with the delivery of synthetic man-made pharmaceutical drugs. Now, I don't have a problem with something with the medicine being synthetic or man-made. I have a problem with the reason that it's delivered. And the reason that MDs deliver drugs is to manage the problem, not to fix the problem. They've given up even trying to hope that they can figure out what's going on, because in their little pea brains they think it's all genetics, right? It's genetics. It's the bad gene. You've got the congestive heart failure gene. This is how they excuse their unbelievably pitiful performance, pitiful performance, by blaming you. Can't be the doctor's fault. Has to be your fault. It has to be your bad gene. Number one, MDs deliver treatments that are not intended to cure anything. They're intended to manage the disease. Number two, we've been taught by the food industry, by Monsanto and General Mills, to eat whole grains all the time. That whole grains are the second, third coming of Christ. It is the best thing to happen to the planet since the resurrection of Jesus Christ, right? Best thing to happen since the birth of the Buddha. Best thing to happen since Mohammed strolled the earth is, the whole grains are the best possible thing you can ever eat. And we've gone crazy for grains in the last 50 years. Grain consumption has gone up a remarkable amount here in the United States, and quite frankly all around the world in the last 50 years, thanks to Food Inc., thanks to the food industry here. Right now, we all know, if you've been listening to this show, that whole grains contain gluten. Gluten is a protein in wheat, barley, rye, and oats, and gluten is virtually impossible for the human stomach to digest. So when you eat a grain that has gluten in it, i.e. when you eat wheat, barley, rye, and oats, that's right, whole grain bread, made from flour, harvested by Trappist monks under a full moon while they were chanting. Best grain in the world, best flour in the world, right? Ground in stone ground mills underneath the full summer moon, right? Really awesome stuff. It's going to kill you because it's got gluten in it. And what gluten does is when your stomach is unable to digest it, it rolls through the intestinal tract like a juggernaut, damaging and destroying everything that it touches, and it destroys the tissue in the intestinal tract, which absorb nutrients. So check this out. The more whole grains you eat, the less nutrition your body has, because whole grains destroy the villi in the intestinal tract, the job of which is to absorb nutrition from the food. So what happens? The more whole grains you eat, the less nutrition your body has. But now you can absorb calories. You can digest calories out of the food. So you eat whole grain foods and you get lots and lots of calories, but you don't get any vitamins, minerals, amino acids, or essential nutrients at all. Maybe a handful, but not nearly enough to keep you going. And so this, of course, accelerates the genesis of chronic diseases and obesity, because all chronic diseases and obesity have their roots in nutrient deficiency diseases. High blood pressure is a nutrient deficiency disease most of the time. Type 2 diabetes is a nutrient deficiency disease. Asthma is a nutrient deficiency disease. Alzheimer's, we believe, is a deficiency in cholesterol, which is compounded by statin drugs. The list goes on and on. So the long story short, the more whole grains you eat, the more chronic disease you have in your body. And the last candle in this cake is the indiscriminate use of antacids and proton pump inhibitors. Antacids and proton pump inhibitors are the largest selling drugs in the world. Antacids and proton pump inhibitors are the largest selling drugs in the world because MDs, being intellectual cowards, have taken it upon themselves to believe the professional myth that heartburn is caused by an excess of stomach acid. It's not. Heartburn is caused by not enough stomach acid. It's caused by a deficiency in stomach acid, not an excess. But because the MDs gave up free thought a long time ago and they just, goose step to the party line, they just chime in what they were taught in school, no matter how wrong it is. So they think that heartburn is caused by too much stomach acid, even though that's impossible. How is it possible for your stomach to make too much stomach acid? It can't. So they give proton pump inhibitors and antacid like candy. So what happens when you take proton pump inhibitors? Well, proton pump inhibitors, things like Prevacid, completely eliminate your stomach's ability to have any stomach acid. There ain't no more stomach acid in your stomach when you take a proton pump inhibitor like Nexium. It's gone. Your stomach acid isn't there anymore. Well, why is that a problem? Because it's your stomach's job to digest your food into a liquid form so that your small intestine can then absorb it into the bloodstream. When you eliminate the liquefaction of your food by eliminating your acid because you took a proton pump inhibitor, now you have undigested food tumbling through the intestinal tract, and guess what? Your body isn't going to be able to absorb any nutrition from it all. Again, it can get calories from it, but not any nutrition. So the combination of antacids and proton pump inhibitors and whole grains leads to the genesis of all chronic disease, because these two things, when you put them together, even when you take them separately, they increase your body's deficiency in nutrients. So now you have a chronic disease, and you're in pain, you're suffering, you're in trouble. You go to the only type of medicine that's available to you, MD-directed medicine, and the MD doesn't cure it, he throws a drug at it. And then another drug, and then another drug, and then you die. This is the perfect storm, ladies and gentlemen. We are sick and suffering because we've taken the wrong dog to the hunt. We've listened to the wrong people for 100 years. It's time to snap out of it and pop out of the matrix and get your health and your life back. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, and I am the Red Pill. Stick around. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here with you on the 10th day of September 2013. We had a really good webinar last night. About essential fatty acid supplementation. We maxed out the webinar room. Check it out. Become a Dr. Glidden Insider. Get in while the getting's good. Go to fireyourmdnow.com and click on just follow the links to become a subscriber to my online health recovery program. It'll be one of the best investments you've ever made. We're going to go right to the phones now. Looks like our good friend Gottfried is on the phone from Germany. Achtung, Gottfried, you are live.
Hey, Doc, how are you?
Very good, thanks. What's happening, buddy?
Yeah, nothing much. I'll be expecting your email or something like that, but nothing comes through.
Well, yeah, let me tell you what's happening. Longevity just acquired 2 different companies.
Okay.
And 2 of their top people just retired.
Oh.
So there's a big mashup inside corporate longevity right now because, there's all this new stuff that's happening all the time. It's kind of like 6 different things coming together all at once. So little old Dr. Glidden's on the back burner. But here's what I'd like to do. I think we should move ahead with having the chemist that you secured analyze the selenium and analyze the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Let's just get those 2 out of the way and see what they say about the formulations that Longevity has versus what the European Union allows. And then we'll have an idea of where we're at and, what type of expense we're going to be looking at and how much we're going to need to adulterate, if at all, any of the formulations. So actually, I'm going to take that back. I think if we should have them look at the Healthy Start Pack. So that would be the Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0. The Beyond Osteo FX, and the EFA Plus. The Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 Peach Infusion, the Beyond Osteo FX Liquid, and the EFA Plus. That's 3 things. That's the basic Healthy Start Pack. Have them look at those 3 things, analyze those 3 things, and get back to me with the results, and then we can, I think, have a better perspective about what we're up against. Does that make sense?
Okay, no problem. I'll start that. from tomorrow going.
Okay, very, very good. What's the response, Gottfried? I'm just curious because, you know, I've been to Europe a number of times, but I've never lived there. I know what our health is like here, and of course in Europe it's a little different because there's more homeopathy and there's more herbal medicine and things like that that are available. But, you know, from your perspective, living in Germany now for however long you've been there, what is the pulse of the population regarding, you know, conventional medicine and how good it is? And are people as frustrated there as they are in the United States about the delivery of health care?
The same thing like United States, Doc. It's so messed up, you can't believe it. Yeah. People, now that most of the professors are dealing in the human organs, killing people to sell the organs to other people.
Really?
Yeah, you can't believe it. And the problem is that the insurance are taking over, so that's why people feel it. But rich people who got the money, or the average person who got the money, they don't care to go into a very good natural medicine. That is the problem. But these people who trusted the insurance and all sorts of things, they just say, yeah, the insurance will do. So whatever protocol the MDs have given them, they go according to it. And last year, then they are dead.
Yeah, so people's hands are tied, right, because they don't have enough money to afford private health care, and the people that do afford private health care go to natural doctors. Most people can't afford that, so most people are tied into conventional medicine through the insurance industry. And so if they have a contract with an insurance company, that means the insurance company dictates what the doctor does and what the doctor doesn't do, and the patient has no say in it. They're like guinea pigs to the MDs. And, you know, MD medicine in the United States is the same as MD medicine in Germany. It's the same as MD medicine in China. It's the same as MD medicine anywhere in the world. It's MD medicine. It's like, you know, a Buddhist is a Buddhist is a Buddhist no matter where they live. A Mormon is a Mormon is a Mormon no matter where they live, and so forth and so on. Just crossing country lines doesn't change the methodology of the allopathic reductionistic MD. So it's crazy, man. It's one giant crazy world. We're trying to make a difference here, Gottfried. I know it's a little slow going, but we're doing the best we can. Have the chemist check out those 3 supplements and get back to me when you get the results, and I'll look forward to it. And I'm still working on our behalf in the back office. Stick around, buddy. Stick around, folks. I appreciate your tuning in. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, and this is Fire Your MD Now. Here we come to the rescue, ladies and gentlemen. You better believe it. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health. Look, it's so bad in the world that longevity is the only solution. I mean, this is it. This is the sticking point. This is what it's come to. This is the you know, we've reached the breaking point a long time ago, and we are the solution. Longevity is the solution to human suffering. There, I said it out loud. Why? Because we bring to the table science-based, clinically verified, boilerplate health recovery nutritions which affect a positive change across the board in the face of most chronic disease diagnoses. We bust myths. Healing is not complicated. It's easy. Your MD doesn't know what's best for you. They only know what they've been trained in. And you don't need medical treatment for a chronic disease. You need to give your body nutrition. You need to give your body a break. You need to give your body the stuff that it needs to fix itself. Get the heck out of the way and let the healing begin. And guess what? We deliver this to the masses. We're teaching people how to be their own doctors. Now, guess who doesn't like that? Well, the MDs don't know how big we're going to become, so they look at us like, you know, a circus sideshow. But you wait. You mark my words. This is going to grow into a movement the same way that civil rights did. Why? Because it works. You've heard the testimonial. Stay tuned, folks. It just gets better and better and better. For goodness sake, if you're not a longevity member, what the heck are you waiting for? I mean, the company gives you a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you take this stuff and you grow an 11th finger, for goodness sake, you know, or your third eye pops open, and that would be a bad thing, and you want your money back, no problem. You have 30 days. Give it a try. You don't know what you're missing. Seriously, you don't know what you're missing. We're going to go to Jim in Minneapolis next. Hey, Jim. Chilblains, Jim. I haven't heard that term in a long time. Thanks for calling. You are live.
Yeah, I've got a friend that's had chilblains for a while, and the doctor, I don't know the stuff that he puts on his hand, but it doesn't help all that much. When the weather goes below 45 degrees, that's when he has trouble. Have you got any suggestion for it?
Well, yeah. So, did the guy or your friend that's suffering from this ever suffer frostbite in their life?
I never ask him. I'll do that, though.
Okay, well, that's the first thing to consider, right, that there was a history of frostbite, and when there's frostbite, there's actual tissue destruction and tissue damage, and then sometimes it's too much. The body just can't recover from that. It's too much damage. Sometimes you can, but in any event, what we want to do here is increase the circulation, because this is a circulatory issue. By hook or by crook, we need to support and promote the circulation in the body, especially at the distal end of the circulatory tract, which would be the fingertips, the fingers, the hands, the toe tips, the toes, and the feet, right? So how we do that is by eliminating the 10 bad foods. Because from our point of view, the main cause of a gummed up circulatory system is consistent consumption of food that's inflammatory. Consistent consumption of food that's inflammatory causes crap to adhere to the wall of the blood vessels that shouldn't be there. It's not cholesterol that causes funky blood vessels. It's inflammation. Cholesterol is a bandage that the body lays down to keep you from bleeding to death. This is our position on clogged arteries. By the way, if it's clogged with hardened plaque, calcium, that's not because there's too much calcium in your body. It's because there's not enough magnesium. Calcium deposition in blood vessels is a magnesium deficiency, and cholesterol deposition in blood vessels is a result of constant inflammation in the blood vessels. What causes constant inflammation in the blood vessels? Wheat, barley, rye, and oats, oil in a bottle, fried food, well-done red meat, meat with nitrates added as preservatives, the skins of baked potatoes, yams, and sweet potatoes, and drinking a carbonated beverage with a meal. When you put all these things together, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks, you're going to die, sucker, but before you die, you're going to suffer, and then you're going to die, and then you're going to go bankrupt, while the MD uses you as a guinea pig, and he just throws crap at you, hoping that something sticks to the wall, and hoping against hope that, your liver doesn't explode as a side effect of the drug, for goodness sake. So, in order to support the circulation here, we need to eliminate the cause of funky circulation, and so we got to clean the diet up. If your friend ain't willing to clean his diet up, then there ain't no amount of supplements that are going to help. He or she has to stop eating the 10 bad foods. You just have to do that, number one. Number two, to support and promote healthy circulation, our recommendation is 1 anti-aging healthy start pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. 1 bottle of selenium per 50 pounds of body weight per month. And the secret sauce is the Ultimate Daily Capsules. 1 bottle of Ultimate Daily Capsules per 200 pounds of body weight per month, plus elimination of the 10 bad foods. That's a really good place to start. Let me give you that list again. That's 1 anti-aging healthy start pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. 1 bottle of selenium per 50 pounds of body weight per month, and 1 bottle of Ultimate Daily Capsules per 200 pounds of body weight per month, plus eliminate the 10 bad foods. And with this and everything else, our basic stance is give this program a try for 90 days. 3 months, 90 days. And look to see inside of that 12-week window what improves. And if you do this program for 12 weeks and nothing improves, I'll eat my hat. Now remember, this is a holistic program. This is not specifically a program for chilblains. This is a program for the person who is suffering with the chilblains. And a person is a complex system of interrelated parts. So when anybody gets on board a holistic health recovery protocol, we expect system-wide results. So, look to see how their sleep and their mood and their energy and their appetite and their bowel movements and their menstrual cycle and whatever is, in addition to paying attention to what happens to the circulatory problem in the fingers. Does that make sense?
Give them that information. Okay.
Well, all right. Yeah, I appreciate the phone call, and the biggest thing that we advocate here is, give it a 3-month window, before you judge it up or down. And that's, by the way, that's a good piece of advice to bring to bear on any type of medical treatment. And I say this all the time. I don't care if you go to the Surgeon General of the U.S., I don't care if you go to a shaman in the rainforest of Brazil or the good old Dr. Glidden or whomever it is. Whomever you go to for medical treatment, you need to demand politely a timetable inside of which you're going to work to see results. How long is it going to take, Doc? Was it a week? A month? A year? How long am I going to have to do what you tell me to do before I expect to see results? Nobody does that. People just let the MD string them along and string them along and string them along, and then 6 months later you're on 6 different drugs. Because they're just experimenting. They're throwing stuff, hoping that something sticks. You must demand a timetable inside of which you're going to work to see improvement with anybody. And with us, generically, 90 days, 12 weeks. All right, let me see. Elaine is up next. I have no idea where she's from. Calling about sensitivities and surgeries. Hey, Elaine, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. I have Christine on the line, and she's had some very serious surgery that's very unique, and therefore she has some health issues, and we want to get on top of it. And as soon as we get done with Christine, I have an amazing testimony about something you talked about with me recently. So we'll let Christine tell you what's going on, and then I do want to talk to you about a testimony after.
Excellent. Okay, Christine, you're up to bat. Thanks for calling. How can I help?
I had a lot of surgeries in my early 20s, which were very major surgeries. I was very sick as a child, my heart artery cut off the third part of my stomach, and actually I was in and out of the hospital for like 7 years, and they didn't know what was wrong. And when I was 20, they went in and did emergency surgery because it was 100% cut off when they did the upper GI. And then a few months after that, they did like 4 surgeries on my female organs, I guess because of the blood supply loss was cut off from the stomach and the heart artery constantly battling back and forth.
So did they take the uterus and the ovaries out?
Yeah, I had everything removed. Before I was 21, I had cervix, uterus, ovaries, everything removed. They said that the military doctors never gave me a reason other that there was no blood flow and it was gray, it was not pink in color.
Well, the reason was because you're a woman. That's why they did it. You think they would have cut a man's testicles off if there was any hope that they could have saved them? No, they never would have done that. But they'll do complete hysterectomies to women 10 times till Friday because they can, because it's a male-dominated medical system, but I digress. Okay, so you've had all reproductive organs removed. Do you still have both kidneys?
Yes, I do.
Do you still have your gallbladder?
They took yes.
All right, so tell me what else they took.
They took the bottom part of the stomach, the jejunum, and part of the GM out. And then I had my tonsils removed and had sinus surgery. And then I had, the only other thing, I had my veins done on my legs twice because I have varicose veins really bad.
Okay, all right. So how old are you and how much do you weigh?
I'm 145 pounds. I'm 52 years old. I do have rheumatoid arthritis, but I don't take anything for it other than I take coated aspirins every day. So you're bothered every day by joint pain. Are you bothered every day by a heartburn or gas or constipation or diarrhea? Or, is there anything else that bothers you on a regular basis besides the pain from the arthritis? actually eating. Every time I eat or drink something, I have a Chinese doctor that has been taking care of me for years, and but I'm always on something.
Because why?
Because
why? What happens when you eat? Do you get pain? Do you get gas? Do you get distension? What happens?
I just swell up. I swell up. I don't feel good. Once I'm off. He took me off beef. The only meat I eat is chicken, and it's organic. But every time I eat, I just don't feel well. And
all right, how about Charlie? All right. Listen to me now. We only have a limited amount of time here. How about Charlie horse's muscle tics or twitches or cramps anywhere in your body? Yes or no?
Yeah, I have them.
All right, so we're up against a hard break here, Christine. I know exactly what to do here. I know exactly what the problem is, or, my intention is not to diagnose anything over the internet or over the radio or over the phone, but the stuff that you're bothered by from my point of view is rather elementary, straightforward, and pretty easy to get on the other side of. I think you're going to love how you feel, and I don't know how you met Elaine, but you better thank the lucky star that she was born under that brought her into your life, because after I get done with you, you're going to love how you feel. Stick around, folks. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. We'll be back after these words. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the end of the first hour here on September 10th, 2013. We're talking to Christine and Elaine about Christine's health complaints. So, Christine, here's the deal. We need to give your body stuff that it needs to bounce back, basically. That's the simplest way I can put it. So here's what I'd like you to do for 90 days. That's 3 months in a row. Are you ready?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so one healthy bone and joint pack. One healthy bone and joint pack. One Beyond Osteo FX Plus. One Beyond Osteo FX Plus. 2 bottles of Ultimate Enzymes. And 3 bottles of Ultimate Selenium. That's 3 Ultimate Selenium, 2 Ultimate Enzymes, 1 Beyond Osteo FX Plus, and 1 Healthy Bone and Joint Pack. And Elaine will give you the heads up on how to use that stuff and how to take it. In addition to this, of course, you, Elaine, me, everybody else in the world must eliminate the 10 bad foods. There are foods that you're eating that are hurting you, and you need to stop eating them. Elaine will give you a heads up on that list as well. And the last thing I want you to do is start salting your food so that it tastes good. Start using salt liberally in order to make your food taste good. Just good old-fashioned Morton's iodized table salt is fine by me. If you want to get a fancy schmancy Himalayan or Celtic sea salt, go right ahead. I don't have a problem. Salt, baby, salt. Salt your food. Eliminate the 10 bad foods. Take those nutritional supplements. Keep your fingers crossed. And, once you get this dialed in, I would anticipate that every 2 to 3 weeks, you should see something improve. Maybe it'll be the digestion. Maybe it'll be your sleep. Maybe it'll be the bloating. Maybe it'll be your joint pain. Maybe it'll be the cramps. Something has to brighten up here within the first couple of weeks of this treatment. And that's how we know that we're on the right track. So check that out. Let Elaine help you. And now, Elaine, in the last 3 minutes of the first hour, you're up to bat. It's your turn to give me a testimonial, so let her rip.
Okay, Dr. Glidden, I'm going to make this really quick, but the last is the best, so hang with me. No applause or anything until I get through. But 3 people, I'll just name 3, that you have helped in the last 4 to 6 weeks. One was a man that was bleeding almost to death. His blood count did not go over 6 for 4.5 years. He got on your protocol, which is longevity, which is what we all do, and had his last blood test. She's going to call you, by the way, his wife. His blood test is now showing 13. Best it's been in 4.5 years. So he's on the mend. He's a very happy camper. Another young gal by the name of Amanda had IT, the bladder condition. It was very painful and a bunch of other stuff, candida and everything. She has almost made a full recovery in about 6 weeks. She is a really happy girl. And then Dalton called you on Friday, and he was having high blood pressure, and his doctor wanted to do a bunch of stuff and the whole 9 yards, and you increased his calcium intake up to 4 times, and now his blood pressure is going back in the normal range since Friday.
God, I love my job.
Now, listen to this. I called you a few weeks ago about my little cow, beautiful little Jersey heifer that's pregnant, broken leg. 2 vets had very little hope, and, cow is a big animal, and we can't keep her still, and this leg won't mend. I've been giving her OsteoFX, Bloomin' Minerals, Liquid Minerals, gelatin every day for 7 weeks. We had an x-ray yesterday. The leg is healed in 7 weeks. It saved her life. She would have been dead.
Unbelievable. I mean, isn't this just the best thing that's ever happened? I mean, this is just the best thing that ever happened. And look, how did we do this? Did I need to see a chart? Did I need to see blood work? Did I need to see an x-ray? Did I need to see a CT scan? No. This is just good, new-fashioned medical nutrition, and it's amazing to me that the MDs don't know this, and the fact that they don't know this is why we're going right down the tubes with medicine in this country. Ladies and gentlemen, as Elaine is pointing out, through testimony after testimony, the medical system in the United States, quite frankly, in the free world, does not need to be upregulated. It does not need to be downregulated. It does not need to be massaged. It needs to be abandoned. Elaine, you are the last best hope your community has to live long and healthy lives. Keep up the good work. I mean, you are the longevity superstar of the week. I appreciate you, and your community has no idea of the jewel that they've found in Elaine. Keep up the good work. I'm expecting big things from you. Stick around, folks. Second hour coming back at 6 after. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. See you then.